All right, we're in section 16, right? In the Stagecoach section, and I'll go through this with you. And again, we're hoping you're getting more comfortable with the material. Again, before you do the Sage, you need to study this section, section 16, and try to understand what's been presented to you. All right, what's the point of doing Sage is to get yourself familiar with this. This says n is a variable, all right? And again, I'm just reading through my code over here. So n is a variable. And I'm going to ask Sage to assume that n is an integer. All right. Okay. I want to just go through one thing. It's something that I think a lot of computer science students end up doing is copy pasting things. And I'm going to say there's really nothing wrong with that. I can't say someone could copyright that there, but do you notice there's a difference between the one I typed in and this one over here, that somehow the coloring of it's different? I want to tell you what the big difference is. It's the quote symbols. This is going to happen to you when you start to copy code. When you copy code, sometimes the symbols that in the typeset version would be different than in the applications version, or in this case, the terminal. If I do this, it's going to say there's an error, and it's actually pointing the error out to me. All right. So nothing really happened over there. So I'm going to just, maybe do this stuff over here. And as I do these things over here, I want to see what it's asking me to do. It looks like it says take the sum, 1.0 over n. I think we've seen this one before. If you remember, we did this sum. And when I said we did this sum, if I go back over the notes, I want to tell you where this is. And again, I know the notes are long. And part of the reason they're long is there's really a lot of detail in the notes. A lot of that detail we cover in class, by the way. And it's important you start to, pay attention to what we do in class, but more importantly, you start working problems on your own. All right. And again, I know this is difficult to go back over this, but the bottom line is the reason to go back over the notes is so you can start making sense out of these things over here. Now, again, I'm going to say something. It's something to do with these problems over here. And really, what am I doing? I'm summing the terms 1 over n for n in 1 to 100. Well, look at this one over here. This is a sum of the terms from n to 1,000,000. I'm going to type that in. And I'm going to change the 100 to 1,000,000. Whoops. Got 14.4, right? And you realize you could, keep playing this game. That's 12 zeros now, right? I got 6. I could put 12 zeros in there. Hard counting them. By the way, that's a tremendous number of numbers to add together. Believe it or not, what Sage is doing right now, it's adding one number after another number after another number, one at a time. How many? That's 10 to the 12th. That's a tremendous number of terms. What am I expecting after it does all those computations? I'm expecting to get 28.2 back. All right, I'm going to switch to one other application for you. Whoops, sorry about that. Let me just go back here. And it's not open, so I got to open up an application over here. And I'm going to go to Wolfram Alpha. All right, so Wolfram Alpha. And I'm going to try to type in what I'm seeing over here. So I'm going to say sum. What am I going to do? 1 divide by n. And then I'm going to say n is 1, 2. I'm going to say 100. And let's see what happens. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Mouse a little bit jumpy today. Wow, they give me an exact answer. I don't want that. They give me an approximate one too. I see that. By the way, I want to go to 1,000,000. I want to see what happens. If I do 1,000,000 there, I always have a tough time counting those zeros. Nope, I need another one. It's blinking, right? Well, it doesn't even give me exact answer. Give me approximate. You get the idea. Let's put a few more zeros in. That's 10 to the 12th, by the way. Wow, 28. All right. Let me go back to my Sage. Sage is still working on that problem. And you may wonder why. Sometimes the algorithms for these things, one piece of software might be better than the other, but it might not be such a good idea to be doing this level of going out there to 10 to the 12th. It makes no sense to do that, by the way. But let's let it continue to work. Let's see what happens. All right, let's go back to my notes. And I want to just simply say that, we covered a lot of material here. I want to get back to the Sage, though. Oh, homework. That's what you have to do, right? Yeah, homework's important. I'm going back to Sage. A lot of scrolling, isn't there? A lot of problems. Again, the more effort you put into your studies, the more you'll get out of your studies. And hopefully those studies will have a payoff for you. But anyway, what I saw over here, it keeps going through the sums, different sums, yada, yada, yada. I think I can understand what that is. And I think I'm ready to go back in the notes and try some of these problems. I think I'm ready. All right. So someone says, what do you want to do? Well, I want to do this one right over here. I'm going to go to Wolfram Alpha. And I'm going to try to type this one in Wolfram Alpha. That's 6, right? Divided by n plus 5. Divided by n plus 6. Divided by n plus 7. And yeah, you're going to have to learn how to type things in. A lot of students, that's one of their big problems with using a computer or a calculator. They type in the wrong thing. All right. And then I'm going to say n equals 1. Well, you know what? I want to look at their question. A calculator should not be used to do a problem. Well, I'm using Sage. So I go through it and see what they've done over here. Put this over here. You want to say, I'm going to say 2 and an uppercase N. I don't know what it's going to do. I'm wondering if it gives me the same answer this guy's got over here. Who knows? No, it gives me something that may not be well understood. All right, got all kinds of symbols over here. I'm not well understood, right? Let's try infinity. Let's see what happens there. Well, gives me a number. Not the same number though, is it? And I know what I did wrong now. I typed in the wrong problem. And that's why it's giving me crazy things. Sorry about that. Let me do n again and see what happens. I typed in the wrong one. It happens all the time. Yeah, it gives it back to me. What it gives back to me, you may not realize this, but it gives back this expression over here. You just may not realize that. And so how do you know that? I don't know that. I didn't do the work, but I'm saying I think I typed it in right. N plus 5, n plus 6, 7. Yeah. Let me take the n. I'm going to change it to infinity now. Again, I'm using Wolfram Alpha. This is a product that's available to you. And it gives me 1 over 14. Let me go to that. 1 over 14, as I expected. All right. I want to go back to Sage now. And the reason that I would say there's not one computer algebra system that you need to become familiar with. The bottom line is that there's going to be a variety of software, a piece of software out there that you're going to be using. And it's so true that there's these applications out there that you got to get used to using. The one reason I like to use Sage, though, Sage has integrated a tremendous number of packages within it, a tremendous number. All right. For almost all fields of mathematics, Sage is a package that's involved in that. Now, by the way, Wolfram Alpha is also quite good, but the software behind this is actually Mathematica, which is expensive software, which is also a great product. They do have a student version of it. And if you're looking to invest some money in a product, I would say Wolfram Mathematica is a good product to get involved in. All right. But the bottom line is I wouldn't be spending money at this point unless you're committed to doing something with it. All right. So I want to go back to my Oh, I'm sorry. I said I want to go back to Sage, right? By the way, Sage is still working on that problem. All right. By the way, this is an unproductive use of a computer algebra system to do something this silly. Let me do the Control C in that, and I'm going to clear the screen now. Control C, stop the process. And what I want to do is I want to see if I can remember what I did for this problem over here. I want to see if I can remember that. All right. So I'm gonna just simply see if I can remember. So reset. I'm going to say n is a variable. Okay. I think I'm going to define another variable. N is a variable. And let me just see if I can remember. So sum 1 divided by n plus 5. Whoops. Divided by n plus 6 divided by n plus 7. Again, if you don't remember, right, which happens all the time, what are you going to do? You're going to scroll to where this stuff is over here. And you notice that, I got example code that you could look at. Now, what do I type in now? For n in, you also said 4 got highlighted now, right? What I want to do, 1 dot dot, let's do 10. Let's just see if we can do it. Whoops, I think I made a mistake somewhere. Invalid syntax. What did I do wrong? Oh, I see it now. I had a comma there. I got a number there. All right, let's try something different. And again, the point of this is to realize sometimes one piece of software may not be well designed to do something. And it says it can't do it. It can't do it. Let me try this. I'm going to put infinity in. Remember, infinity is 0. And again, it can't do it. All right. So what's the point of this? Well, the point is, you might say to yourself, maybe this is beyond Sage's ability, or maybe I'm not using the proper package. This is going to happen a lot in computer science. You're going to be using one coding language that's really tough to use. That's why you need options. What option did we use today? We used Wolfram Alpha. It seemed like a really nice option. All right, a really nice option. Output looks good. I want to claim one of the problems with using Wolfram Alpha, though, is when you're using Wolfram Alpha, they're going to try to sell you something. All right. Now, when I'm using Sage on my computer, they're not going to sell me something, but I'll be honest with you, they're not being very helpful either. Right. There are all kinds of error messages coming up. And I'm going to say, is it worth struggling with that? Maybe if I want to become more proficient in Sage, but the bottom line is you're going to have to ditch some applications to go to a different one. The more tools you have at your disposal, the better, right? The more tools at your disposal, the better. All right, let me, I'm going to do a copy paste over here of some of these guys over here. And just a copy paste. And you certainly, it's not a bad something to be doing, but copy paste. Let me show you this one over here. Again, it certainly can handle that. And copy paste this one over here. And someone says, what's this one about? A lot of times you want a numerical approximation. And the one above it is really the same thing. The only difference is I got that .n notation. And it gives me an approximation to that number. All right. So again, what's the point of this? Yeah, Sage has built-in sums. Yeah, Sage can do a lot of stuff. A lot of times you're going to be struggling with things. And to fix your struggles might be just too much effort. That's why you need more than one application at your disposal. What application will you show you? Wolfram Alpha. Thank you for listening.